Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Welcome to the show, y'all. Today I got another interview for y'all, right? A little partner of mine named Bud, man. I've been knowing this guy for a while. We was at another institution together. And I've always noticed how, this man under any circumstances got this amazing sense of humor. He's always laughing and joking. But the other day, it wasn't the other day, it was today. I was having a conversation with him. I don't even know how we got on the conversation about the police, right? Now, you know how people in the penitentiary are when it comes down to talking about the police. And let me tell you something. This brother said some things about the police that kind of shook me, right? Because we had a situation that took place, at a prison that we were at together, right? Actually, this prison. And a female was assaulted, right? And it was a situation that went down where you had inmates that helped her out and all this, and stopped something bad from happening. Use your imagination when I say that. And we were talking, and he said, Joe, do you think they was the police? And I said, no. Y'all know how I am. Y'all know how I get down. I reject the lifestyle at this point in my life. And he said, well, just a little bit? Do you think that was the police just a little bit? And I said, no, it was two human beings having another human being in a time of distress. And I said, if that were your daughter, you understand what I'm saying? Wouldn't you want them to help and all this? And then he said something slick, and I was like, hold up. If your daughter was the police, would you invite her to the family reunions and all this and that? He's like, no, she don't need to be coming over here because, they'll be doing things. You know how people do at the reunion. They drink and get tips and all these different types of things. You don't want the police around, right? But I'm looking at it like, this your daughter, bud. This your daughter. She get a pass. And he was adamantly against that, right? So that led to another conversation that I want to let y'all hear. Because this is when it got serious. And this is when it opened up to me to really understand how he thinks in his worldview, right? Because this is what set him on a course that would dominate the next few decades of his life. And see, all of us always talk about, what got us started in the game and why we think and feel the way we feel. And it applied to him too. And you get ready to hear this, because this is an amazing story, right? And I want to first, before we get to it, I want to introduce him, and let him introduce himself to y'all and say everything. So, Bud, what's up, man?
What's going on, Joe?
Man, ain't nothing, man. I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview for me, man,
I ain't had much to do. I wouldn't mind anyway.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Clear my schedule for you.
Okay, now look, let me make sure y'all understand. This dude has a twisted sense of humor. He's subject to say something silly at any time. You understand what I'm saying? But that's just him. He's a good person, right? But so let's talk about what we were talking about earlier today, right? When we got on the conversation about the police, right?
Yeah.
And you were telling me about this situation that happened to you when you were 11 years old. So let's start right there. Share with the audience what happened to you at 11 years old. Tell that whole story. And if you leave something out compared to what we were talking about this morning, I'll say, well, what about this, okay? But other than that, I'm going to let you talk. So go ahead, bro.
Well, we was talking this morning, and I was letting you know my dealings with the police. I was 11, and I remember like it's yesterday. I'm 38 today.
Yeah.
So I remember like it was yesterday. And I was on the phone with a little girl. I was on the phone with a little girlfriend of mine, and somehow I clicked over, and it was my mom's boyfriend. And I didn't say nothing because I didn't know I had clicked over. And I heard him say, bitch, so you just ain't gonna say nothing on the phone. So I'm looking at the phone and I'm saying, who he talking to? He say, so I'm going to hell or jail tonight. So I listened to it and I hung up. And I went and told my mama. I just answered the phone. He say, he going to hell or jail tonight. She said, boy, he ain't gonna do nothing. So I said, all right. So I know we make it home. And I had my little brother with me. And I noticed the car was in the front yard, and we don't even use the front door. And it was already running. So I grabbed my knife, took my little brother to bed, and I sat in the room. So my mom and her friend was arguing the whole time, just going back and forth. I'm hearing objects getting thrown at the wall. I'm hearing screaming and shouting. And I know it's serious because my mama said, I dialed the 9 and the 1. And I heard the phone on speakerphone. She said, if you hit me, I'm going to call the police. So I creep to the door, and I'm just like, you see what's going on, because it's a little quiet. Maybe 5 seconds go by, I hear my mama shout. I hear thumbling, like they just rumbling. I run in the room, and I see this man on top of my mama, beating my mama. So I already had the knife, so I grabbed the knife and I stabbed him in his back. And at that time he fell on top of my mama. So I stabbed him again. And he looked me in the eye and said, "Oh, bud, I stabbed me." But he was still on my mama, so I know I stabbed him the 3rd time. And he, somehow, someway, he stood up. I ran in the room, closed the door. I ran in the bathroom, closed the door, and I had the cordless phone. So I pick up the phone and call the police. So as I call the police, they ask my name, what's going on. I'm saying I stabbed my mama boyfriend. And she like, "Whoa, where's the knife?" I said, "Well, it's in my hand." Any adults around? I said, "My mama, I don't know where she at." So by this time, my mama had the other phone on speaker, so I heard her say, "Bud, where you at?" So she come in there with me, and the police tell her, the operator say, "Get the knife." So she got the knife, told us to make sure we was all right, locked the door. So I know we locked the front and the back door. And they said the police was on the way. He didn't make it far. He collapsed in the ditch right in front of the house. He didn't make it too far out of the driveway. So the police come and they question us, and then they say we're gonna have to go downtown. So we went downtown afterwards. Well, I was questioned for maybe about 2-3 different police. My mom was questioned. And then I learned I would be going downtown for attempted murder charges. It's like, whoa. So I know my mama shouting, my auntie shouting. By this time, my auntie was there. She shouting, I'm shouting. We all just nervous and scared. It's like, how am I going through attempted murder charges? Well, I told them the stories I'm telling y'all. So the police said that I premeditated my decision, because I grabbed a knife as soon as I got there and went to my room, and I didn't call the police before I stabbed them. So long story short, we went through a couple of court procedures, and the charges was, they didn't lift charges. They let me go and was just like, we can charge him with murder if the man died. He survived, he lived. A couple of stints back and forth in the hospital, and I remember every time he went to ICU, my mom was notified, and she let me know. So I know when they did that, we went and stayed with my granddaddy, because we didn't know if I'd be going to jail or not. So the long story, that's what.
And you were how old again?
I was 11. I was in the 6th grade. I remember I was not in the 7th grade yet. I was 11. Mm-hmm. I remember like yesterday.
So during the time that he's recovering from the hospital, what were you doing? Like, because I remember you said something this morning about your dad coming by.
Yeah, well.
Tell us about that.
Well, when that happened, maybe 2 or 3 days later, he had a sister and a nephew, and they would ride through the yard and throw bottles or throw trash at me while I was like cutting the grass or just playing outside with my friends. My mom was always at work. So, I told my mama what happened. And then my auntie called my dad and was like, this is what's going on. So my dad brought me a shotgun. I was in the 6th grade. My dad brought me a shotgun, pistol grip shotgun, I know he held 6 bullets. And he taught me how to use it. He taught me how to load it, taught me how to unload it. And I remember being right there when he told my mama, he either gonna have this gun or he gonna come and live with me, because apparently you can't handle what's going on. You got too much going on. So them the only 2 options she had. And I was right there. I remember like yesterday. So at that time, I know I was 11 and I had a gun, a shotgun. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That your daddy gave you?
That my daddy gave me. Told me
yourself.
to protect myself. Told me if anybody come in there.
Did he think you needed that gun? What had anything happened, or was it immediately after that situation? Because that alone is enough to, because this is a grown man and he got family, right?
Right.
So go ahead.
It wasn't as soon as the situation happened, he wasn't even notified at first.
Your dad wasn't?
Nah, my mama didn't call, my auntie didn't call, but when the family started riding past the house and throwing stuff, and it was adults. I know I was 11. Everybody was adults at the time, from 20 to 35 years old.
You the only kid in the whole thing.
The only kid in the whole situation. And they used to come just throw beer bottles, trash, and telling us we need to get out of the house because it was the house was in my mama's name and the guy's sister name.
Right.
So that and they tried to run us off the house. So after that, that's when my daddy brought that gun and gave her the ultimatum: either the gun or he just gonna come and live with me. So my mom was like, "Well, we ain't gonna let him live with you," but that was my first gun right there.
Right.
I remember that. Sure.
So, okay, after that, he gets out of the hospital. He's okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever see him again?
I never seen him again in my life. To this day, I never seen him.
I know this morning you said something about, I think, correct me if I say this wrong, like, I think you said about 15 years old, you saw him again.
I seen his nephew.
His nephew.
The one that was throwing bottles at me. Okay. I didn't see him until, I know I was in high school then, and by this time I was carrying guns then. So I was maybe 15, maybe like the 10th grade. Mm-hmm. How old you are in the 10th grade. And I just remember him terrifying me, to be honest. Like, and they was all big guys. Everybody 6'2" something. I just know I was a child. And I had always thought in the back of my mind, like, when I get older, I'm going to do something to one of them. I'm going to do something to one of them. And when I got 16, I seen him. He lived in the same apartments my sister lived in, off East Nashville. I think it was Greenwood, to be exact. And I had a little 38 on me. And when I seen him, I was just so enraged and just like, that's him. And I just shot. However many, 5 bullets. I shot all the bullets up out of there. And
he got away.
And he got away. But I know my mama was notified.
Mm-hmm. So
that's when he told I guess his uncle, and his uncle somehow, some way got in contact with my mama. And they had told my mama what had happened. Mm-hmm. But by this time I was carrying guns. I was carrying them at this time. So
you all in the streets.
Yeah, I was. By this time I was into the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for sure.
And let me ask you this, man, because when we were talking this morning, you made a comment that this is why, 2 things. This is why you don't trust the police at all, because you thought you were protecting your mom, and then you ended up being charged, right?
For sure.
And also that this is the incident in your life that catapulted you into participating in the criminal lifestyle.
Yeah, it was. I did kind of skim over that.
So let's talk about that first part before we get to the second, about how this changed the way you saw the police. Because before that, what was your opinion of the police? Or did you even have one at all?
Yeah, for sure.
What was it?
They come to school, DARE, all type of stuff. Great program. I played police. Played police. I played football for PAL Raiders. That's the Police Athletic League. Mm-hmm. So, we always seen police. Mm-hmm. So, protect and serve. They slogan, they motto. So there was always the good guys in my eyes until that day. Mm-hmm. Because when you think you are a victim, and they treated me like a suspect the entire time, which shaped my form of how I react, interact, or even just view the police as a whole. Which now that I'm older, I know I probably shouldn't. Right. But I still have that blanket.
But you said something this morning about how, growing up after that, you and your mom, situations would happen where y'all got robbed one time, or somebody was
broke into the house. Yeah.
And you wouldn't even call the police.
No, we wouldn't. Yeah, it shaped both our views on dealing with the police because, like I said, an incident happened twice where our house had got broke in, and the first thing my mom said was, "No, don't call the police." And it was like, I know her trust was totally gone from the police, and mine was too. Cause it scared the shit out of me. I did a week in juvenile.
Yeah.
Like how?
You were protecting your mama.
I'm protecting my mama, and all they kept saying was, I'm premeditating. I'm old enough to know right from wrong, and I plan to grab the knife and go into the room with a knife. So.
But did you say? Correct me if I say anything out of pocket.
Yeah.
You told me also that you always slept with the knife.
Yeah, for about a month.
Before
that.
Why was that?
Because my mama and her boyfriend were arguing a lot. And he would, to that point, I've never seen him hit her or heard him hit her, but he was a thrower.
What does that mean?
Whatever he had in his hand, he would throw it at the wall. I would always hear like, doom, a loud thump, and creep my head out the door. Bubblegum machine done went into the wall. A TV done went into the wall. We always had holes in the wall. You know, after they argument, it was always a hole in the wall somewhere. Mm-hmm. And he would patch it up the next day and everything would be brushed off. But I know for at least a month straight before he actually hit her, I had a knife that I slept with.
Yeah, were you sleeping with the knife to protect yourself, or were you sleeping with it in case something happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I never was in fear for me. Because he never hollered at me, screamed at me. He wasn't my dad. He took care of us financially.
He treated you okay?
For sure. Yeah, he treated us okay. So times with him was fun. But the argument was him and my mom. It was never with him and me. So it wasn't like I was scared for me or my little brother. But I did I was going to protect my mama by all means. And that's the only way I seen fit was to just grab a knife. We had a little 6-7 knife kitchen set. I just would grab one when I came in the house and sleep with it.
How did that affect you raising your kids now? What do you teach them about the police? Or what have you taught them about the police?
Oh, for sure. Off the rip, we do not call the police. We do not deal with the police. I teach them not to like the police. That they not here to help.
So did you tell them what happened to you, or you don't tell them that? You just tell them.
I'm never really. I mean, I was talking to you, and I don't even know how it came up. But it came up. I don't really tell the story because sometimes I feel like I'm telling her business.
I got you.
And not my business.
I got you.
But me and my mama done talked maybe about it twice to where we done talked about it. We haven't talked, it's crazy because I know we went at least 10 years. We didn't talk about it till I was at least 20.
You never said a word about it?
Nah, at least till I was 20. We never even discussed it or...
But both of y'all just automatically got it in your head you can't trust the police.
We definitely was, that definitely came out. It's like, because our house had been broke into twice. And I know both times she was like, I'm not calling no police.
So you felt like you was on your own?
For sure.
Yeah, I know this morning you said you like the fire department, you know.
Yeah, I love the fire department.
Yeah, but you don't like the police.
Don't like the police. The fire department save lives.
Yeah, but that experience with the police showed you that they don't truly protect and serve, in your opinion.
They harass, from my personal experiences with the police, it's been to harass and arrest. It's never been to protect and serve. It's just, it's like, it's always been one side. Now, was I wrong on a lot of those occasions? Yeah, but the one time that I needed the police.
You were a child too.
Yeah, and then it just shaped me from like, never called them again. Because my mama wouldn't let me call when the house was.
You were afraid of what might happen, right?
We knew that even though we ain't done nothing wrong, we could still go to jail.
Right. Now hold on right there. Look here, y'all. I'm going to pick this up in the next episode, so y'all going to have to tune in and get it, you know what I mean? I know y'all liking this because I'm enjoying this, right? But look, y'all stay tuned. Come back. It's been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Breaker, and I say peace, y'all.
I'm getting so tired.